Dear 2020, you suck. No, but in all honesty, what a year this was. So much happened and it was honestly so crazy. I don't think it's a year I'm going to forget, but it's definitely a year that I want to remember. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Kylie. I'm so happy that you are here. This video is so special. I'm hoping that I can do one of these every year that I'm doing my channel, but it is going to be a reflection of the entire past year, which was 2020, of course. I want to tell you guys the structure of this video, just so you can know what to expect. So first, I'm going to talk about every month that happened this year, what happened to me, how I was feeling, different things that I did, different events that happened, all that fun stuff. And then after I go through all the months and what happened, I'm going to talk about 3 things that I learned in the year 2020. So I hope you guys are excited for this video. Stick around to the end. And also stay tuned for tomorrow's video where I ring in the new year 2021 and talk about all the goals that I have and things that I want to accomplish. So without further ado, let's get into my reflection of the year 2020. Happy 2020! Oh my gosh! I'm so excited to see what the year 2020 brings me in terms of music and everything else. So starting with January, I rung in the new year in Montana, actually. We were finishing up a family vacation that we took to Whitefish, where we went skiing and we spent the entire trip on the slopes. It was super fun and was a great way to start the year. Once I got back home from that trip, I hung out a lot with friends. It was one of my only times that I thought that I was going to be able to see them. And I was really excited to start the new semester. I was excited to see what it would bring me. And then at the end of January, I was lucky enough to be able to get myself a new car. My other one was breaking down a lot. It was not reliable. It was in the shop pretty much every other week. And I was lucky enough to be in a place where I could get a new one, which not a lot of people have the opportunity to do. And I'm so grateful that I was able to. So for the most part, January was a pretty quiet and normal month. It was a great way to start the year. By the time February rolled around, I was pretty much in a groove with my schoolwork and working at the theater at the time. One of the only things that we did for fun in this month was Pan and I went to the Oscars night that they hold on campus every year. We got to dress up. We got these really cute dresses from Savers. Oscars night is always such a fun experience. And then at the end of the month, we celebrated Pan's 21st birthday. It was so much fun. Lucky for us, it was early enough in the year where things weren't shut down yet, so we did get to go out and have an amazing dinner with Pan, and she got to have her first legal drink, and that was just a really fun night and a great way to end the month. As you all know, March is the month where everything went down, basically. So at the beginning of the month, it was spring break for me, so I drove home on March 11th for spring break, not knowing that I wasn't going to be going back at the end of the week. On March 12th, we got an email saying that spring break was going to be extended for another week, and then on March 15th, we got the email from the Minnesota system that all classes were going to be online for the remainder of the semester. When I heard this, I was a little bit bummed, obviously, but I was mostly sad that a lot of my friends who were seniors, I wouldn't get to see them again before they graduated and left, so it was definitely weird, but I'm really grateful for the time I had at home because it's not time that I would have had otherwise. Also in March, we celebrated my brother Kelton's birthday. It was a fun day. Even though we spent it in quarantine, we made him a cake, and it was just a bit of normalcy. For me, April was a pretty insignificant month. The only things that happened were I got a new job at my local grocery store at home, so I could make some money while I wasn't working my normal job at the theater. And even though it was temporary, it was still really nice to get out of the house every day and see people that I haven't seen in such a long time from my hometown, so that was really nice. I also spent a lot of time with my family in April, of course. I was still home. I was still working on finishing up my semester, and it was just a lot of time that I was able to spend with my family, which I'm really grateful for, like I said. But also in this month, I remember I was really worried about the future, what it would hold, what was happening with everything, and how things were going to change in the future. I'm just the kind of person that needs to have a plan for everything, so when nobody knew what was going on and there was no plan, it was kind of hard for me to take in at the time, and it was just something that was constantly on my mind, what was going to happen in the rest of the year. Moving on to May, this was the month where I finished my sophomore year. It was really anticlimactic because I literally just turned in my last assignment and I was done. There was nothing to commemorate the experience, but hey, we finished it. At the end of the month, I finished by moving into my own campus apartment here in Moorhead, and I was so excited to be here and just start my new position as an apartment assistant and really get to know my own space. It was something I was looking forward to for the last 3 months at this point, and so I was really excited to actually finally move in. For me, June was a month where I spent so much time with myself, and I really got to know myself even better than I had before. Because I was living alone and not a lot of my friends lived up here at the time, I got to spend a lot of time with myself, doing things on my own and getting really comfortable with spending time alone. I really do think that's a skill that everyone should have, and I'm so happy that I got to work on myself in that way. By spending a lot of time outside, I would sit out in my chair and I would tan in the sun, and I would go to the park almost every night and watch the sunset, and I would bring a blanket and I would just go to parks and sit and go on walks. It was just such a relaxing month for me, and I really appreciated that time. I also tried starting my own business that I called Smiley Sun, and I was working really hard on it, and I ended up dropping it. I think the next month. It was just not something that I felt passionate about anymore, and it just wasn't where my priorities lied, and I wanted to spend time working on other things and different projects, and so I ended up not doing that, and it was only up for about a month. And then moving into July, I went home a lot this month. The first weekend I went home was for 4th of July because my family went camping, and it was such a fun trip. We got to spend it out on kayaks, on the lake, fishing, and just hanging out in the camper, which was such fun. I love doing that. And then I also started driving with Uber Eats in July, which is what I have been doing now, obviously. I'm really happy that I was able to start driving for Uber Eats because it's just a job that fits me perfectly, and I was really happy that I started that. And nearing the end of the month, I took a trip to the Badlands in South Dakota with my friend Steph. It was so fun. I got to ride in a helicopter for the first time, and she really pushed me out of my comfort zone on that trip, and it's something I look back on with just such fond memories. But then moving into August, my friends finally moved back into campus, where I was so happy to finally spend time with people and not be so alone all the time. But at the beginning of the month, I also started RA training, and it was such a stressful week for me. RA training is always such long days. We start early in the morning and we go till late at night. They're like 12-hour days, and I think I was trying to take in so much information that I just was completely stressing myself out. But we got through it. It turned out to be just fine. And I met a lot of new, really cool people, which I'm so thankful for. So when that whole entire week was done, I had my first day of junior year. I got to spend it with some of my friends who live in the apartments with me. And we were nervous for it being all online, and I remember I was really apprehensive about it, but there's also nothing I can do, and so why stress about it? August is also the month when I started posting regularly on YouTube and making it a priority in my life, which I'm so glad that I did, because I started my channel in 2015. I uploaded my first video in 2015, so it took me 5 years to finally realize that YouTube is something that I really am passionate about and want to make a priority in my life, which is really nice. And another small thing that happened in August was I got glasses. I found out that I needed glasses to help reduce my eye strain, and it's been great. I have been getting way less headaches, which is so nice. So I'm just going to tell you now, a lot happened in September. This is the month when my movie theater started to open back up and I started working there a little bit. I was really worried about school this entire month, and everything being online really worried me. So if I'm making this an honest reflection of my year, September was a really low month for me mentally. I had a lot of days where I was just completely stressed out about everything, and I had days where I would literally cry for no reason, and I think my mental health was just so low in this month. But on a lighter note, I got closer with my friend Macy in this month. I started to hang out with her a little bit more, and she's become a really good friend, and I'm super grateful for that. And I also hit 150 subscribers on YouTube in September, which is so crazy. It happened so fast. Once I started posting on a normal schedule, I started gaining so many subscribers, and I really love seeing that on my channel. It makes me really happy every time I get a notification that you guys are subscribing. So that was an amazing milestone for me to hit in September, and I'm really grateful for that. So in the month of October, I got a kitten as an ESA, emotional support animal. Like I mentioned in September, my mental health was kind of low, and Luna just kind of happened to fall in my lap, and it kind of was like it was meant to be, and I'm so happy. I love her, and she's the light of my life, and she's amazing to have with me in the dorms. October was also homecoming week. I won a chalk drawing contest with my friend Macy. It was so fun, and we got to go watch them burn the M and do fireworks and stuff, even though there was no actual game for us to lose, but hey, that's alright. It's always cold anyway. And then in October, it snowed for the first time. I literally just laid in bed that morning and drank my coffee and watched the snow come down, and it was so peaceful. And then at the end of the month, I spent Halloween at a gender reveal for my friend Kenna. She's having her second child, and so they had the gender reveal on Halloween, and that was such a fun day. And then also in October, I hit 200 subscribers, which I don't even know what to say. I'm so thankful. November was overall a pretty uneventful month. I started the month with an ear infection. I had to go to the doctor and get antibiotics for that, so that was fun. The rest of the month flew by, and then at the end, I went home for Thanksgiving. It was fun to spend that weekend with my family, having Thanksgiving dinner. And also in November, I hit 250 subs on YouTube. Ending out the year in December, it was quite an eventful month. At the beginning, I found out I had COVID, and I actually had to quarantine and go home December 3rd and get a test, all that fun stuff. I also turned 21 on the 5th of December, which was such a fun day. Even though I was in quarantine and had COVID, I still got to hang out with my family. I also dyed my hair and cut bangs, and I look so different now than what I did at the beginning of the year. It's crazy. All of this was documented because I decided to do Vlogmas for the first time, and I'm pretty proud of myself. I only missed a couple days, and it ended up to be really fun in the end. I spent Christmas with my grandma and my aunt. We went over to her house, and we had a nice Christmas meal, and it was so nice to be able to spend it with my family again. And then I also hit 300 subs on YouTube, which I cannot believe is happening. It just happened right now as I was editing this. Oh my god! But that is everything for 2020. Holy crap. What a year. So that was my entire year. It was hectic. It was weird. But we made it through. We survived. Now I'm going to tell you guys 3 main things that I think I learned in 2020. These are obviously not the only things I learned, but they're definitely the most pertinent right now, and I don't want to just look back at this year and think that it sucked. I want to be able to take something from it and bring it into my 2021. And so that's kind of what I like to do at the end of every year when I'm feeling reflective. So the first thing that I learned this year was patience. This was a huge one, and I really had to take a step back and realize that not everybody has the answers. When everything started happening in March, I had a lot of questions, as everyone did, but there was no one who had those answers, and for me that was frightening. So it sounds really dramatic, but that was just how I felt. And so being able to have the patience and trust that everything will work out was a skill that I really learned this year. The second thing that I learned this year was gratitude. This is something that I have needed to work on for a while. I take a lot of things for granted, and I realize that. And there are so many things that happened this year that wouldn't have happened if it was just like a normal year, and I have to be grateful for the extra time that I got to spend with family, the health that my family has, and everyone around me. Nobody got terribly sick, and I didn't have to worry about anyone's health or well-being, and that was so nice because a lot of people can't say that this year. I really had to learn to take things as they came and be grateful for the things that I had. So my gratuity this year really went up, and I started realizing all the things that I had to be grateful for and how I shouldn't complain about things as much, because I'm kind of a complainer and I'm kind of a whiner, and I'm going to try to work on that next year. But I really learned how to be grateful in 2020. The last thing, and honestly I think the most important thing that I learned this year, is that not everything is set in stone. I guess my entire life I've always wanted to plan for things. I need to have a plan. I need to know what I'm doing in my future, what my future is going to look like, what I should be planning for, what I should be doing next, and that's always on my mind. I never am really in the present. I'm always looking to the future at what's going to happen. And this year really taught me that even if you have plans for things, even if you think you know where your life is going, what direction you're meant to go in, that won't always happen. And you really just have to take a step back and realize you can plan for things as much as you want, but in the end, things can change in a snap, in a second, in an email. Literally, your entire life can change in an email, and that's what happened this year when they shut down my school and we went online for the rest of the semester. That email completely changed the next 3 months for me, and that is something that I had to realize, that nothing is set in stone. Things can change in the blink of an eye, and you just have to be ready for it. That's not something I thought of before this year, and it's really put a lot of things into perspective. It's weird, yeah. But those are the 3 main things that I learned this year, which means this video is over. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you got to the end, thank you so much. Comment down below something that you're grateful for in 2020. It's so important to think about the good things and not all the negative things. So leave that comment down below. Like this video if you have not already, and subscribe down below. Make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow's video, because I'm going to be talking about some major changes that are happening to my channel. I'm completely changing some things around, and I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. You'll have to wait for tomorrow's video for that. But I'm so excited. I have some new things that I'm going to launch for you guys, and you'll just have to wait until tomorrow to see. But besides that, thank you guys again for watching this video. It means so much more than you know. And yep, I'm going to say it. See you guys next year. Bye.